Well, hello, welcome. I figured I should introduce myself. I'm LittleKuriboh. I'm also, yeah, I know, it's weird. Strange. You guys wandered in here, you thought I was a nostalgia critic, right? Well, I only review modern things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And professional wrestling. Less of an applause for that. It is still good, thank you. Yeah, I'm LittleKuriboh. I'm known for creating this thing called Yu-Gi-Oh! I say creating, is there much creation involved? We'll find out. I made this thing called Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series on YouTube. Thank you. Woo. Where I often forget to explain what it is. So if there's any of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I tend to just skim over that and you're like, I have no frame of reference. Have you ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh? It's that, except significantly shorter and hopefully funnier. Mostly with my voice, usually most of the time. And it's been going for almost 11 years now. Like, last year was the 10-year anniversary, which is really strange to me. It's really strange that I've been able to... It's lasted twice as long as the actual original show, so I don't know if it's abridged anymore. Does it really qualify? Who knows? I did that. I did the Naruto Abridged Comedy Fandom Spoof Series show. I don't know how many of you are aware of that. It had about 10 episodes, and it's still one of my favorite things I've ever done. It's one of the best things I've ever done, and it's one of the dumbest things I've ever done, because I don't know anything about Naruto. I made a parody of it with absolutely no knowledge of what happens in the series, but I really enjoy it, because it's just, I make Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged to make you guys laugh, I make Naruto Spoof to make me laugh. So there's lots of really dumb, childish humor in there. I'm also in Team 4 Star's DBZ Abridged. I played the role of the... Originally I was the narrator. He's kind of dropped off a little bit. He showed up in the Broly movie briefly. He had a couple of lines, that was exciting to reprise that role. And I also played Frieza. He's a lot of fun. Very evil man. And if you've ever seen, I don't know how many you will have, but Kurboph's Terrain of Magical Expertise, Tome. I'm always really excited to meet some Tome fans. There's always like there's a small contingent of them, but they're very passionate. I've always, Nylok Dragon of being at Comic-Con in Alabama. He's a really fun character. He's like a very boisterous role player. And it's set in an MMO, and it's really cool. If you like things like Dot Hack or Sword Art Online, it's like that, except not miserable. I hate to say that, actual work that I've done, I am in the K-On! Movie as like 50% of the British characters in that movie, the official dub. Because it's set in England, and so they needed a legit British person to be in it, and I just happened to be in the area, and they said, come in and record some lines, so I did. One of my proudest roles in that movie is the sushi shop manager. Because the girls, they're in this band. I don't know the premise of K-On!, but I assume that's what's happening. They're in this band and they go to England to tour or something, and they go to this sushi shop and they have all their instruments. Somebody just shook their head at me like being like, you don't know anything about K-On!, I'm sorry. But they go to this sushi shop and the manager there, which is me, he sees their instruments and he's like, oh, we had a band coming to play anyway, so I guess you guys are the band. Because that's how that works. You don't look at any paperwork or anything. You're like, instruments, yeah, get on stage. And he brings them up on stage and he has them play. In the original Japanese, the joke in this scene was that my character spoke English and they didn't understand the language. So there was a lot of confusion. But in the English dub, everybody's speaking English. So I had to speak in like Cockney rhyming slang to confuse the little girls. And so we kept coming up with different like Cockney rhyming slang on the spot to try and spice up the script. But the best part for me, and this is why it's one of my proudest roles, is as the girls are leaving, in the original language, he says, in the original Japanese, he goes, thank you so very much! And we had to come up with a line equivalent to that wasn't just, thank you so very much, because that sounds strange. So in our version, in the English dub, he goes, arigato gozaimashita! Very offensive, but I think it's a brilliant moment in the movie. If you've ever seen the English dub of K-On! The movie. What else have I done that is legitimate? Star Wars, let's talk about Star Wars, I guess. If you've ever seen The Force Awakens or Rogue One, which is in theaters right now, I did the official English audio description for the visually impaired. So you can go home and watch The Force Awakens on your Blu-ray or on your iTunes account or wherever you've got it, and if you switch to audio track 2, you can hear me narrate the whole bloody thing. And with Rogue One, it's true. You can go to the theater and ask for the little headset, and you'll hear me interrupting the movie every so often. It's like actually sitting next to me in the theater. I'll do that. I'll ruin the experience for you. But I really enjoyed doing that. That was a real thrill, just because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and it was really cool because they brought me in like a month before the movie came out and just showed it to me. It was really cool, but also really frustrating because I'd been committed to not getting spoiled. I knew nothing about The Force Awakens at all. When a trailer came on the TV or I went to see a movie at the theater and the trailer came on the screen, I would stand up and leave. I'd put my hands over my ears and go la 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 la. I legitimately did not want to know anything about that movie before going to the theater. And so then they brought me into a little room and said, just watch this. And I was like, but okay. I couldn't talk about it for a month. I knew all the spoilers and I couldn't say anything. It was exciting, but also nerve-wracking and also frustrating. But ultimately, a pretty awesome thing to gotten to do. So welcome. Well, that's me. If that's what you came to see, I hope so. But welcome to the LittleKuriboh Unabridged panel, where I'm happy to talk about literally anything. But I also have a little video preview that I want to show you guys toward the end of the panel. It's not an episode, but it is canonical. It's the second part of it's not Evil Counsel, but it's called Counseling Evil. I don't know if any of you saw the first part. I'm doing it as like a little mini-series to sort of end the story. If any of you watched the original Evil Counsel run, it sort of ended with Bakura leaving the Evil Counsel to go join Darts. And I left it up in the air for like 3-4 years, and I felt really bad about that, because I had intentions of returning to it, but I just never was in the right mood. I never really felt like I just didn't have the inspiration, and now I'm like, I have a really good idea for how to ramp things up, so I'm doing like a 5 or 6 episode miniseries. The first one involved Marek realizing that people didn't have as much faith in him, in his evil counsel, as he thought, so the evil teddy bear that Rebecca had tries to usurp power, and Marek has to go off and learn how to be evil again from Bandit Keith. I held off on using Bandit Keith in the Evil Counsel series specifically because I wanted to have him do something really big at the end of the series. So he's coming back to do that. He's going to teach Marek how to find his evil roots and how to be an American, obviously, or a Canadian. Who knows at this point? But the second episode is, you'll find out later when I show the video, it's set in Darts' Evil Counsel. I'm sort of going back and forth. First episode is Marek, second episode is Bakura, and eventually, I'm not going to say they reunite in a positive way, but they will reunite and the story will have a conclusion. And people who ship those guys, I hope you'll be happy. I really do. Noticeably a feminine cheer. There you go. That's true.
It's true. Thief shipping, it's what's for dinner. It's true. The 3 I's: intensity, integrity, and the I in thief shipping.
He's done the whole thing, you know? He is. It's pretty badass. Welcome, though. I forgot. I also do a show called The Mark Remark. Thank you for reminding me, where I review the events of pro wrestling, but I do it in sort of a jokey way. I know pro wrestling, strangely enough, I know a lot of people sort of think it's a bit silly. A lot of people think that about Yu-Gi-Oh as well, though. But I love pro wrestling. I have for like the last 15 years, and it's always been a passion of mine. And I've always been reluctant to do anything based on it. I've always been reluctant to do a video series about my love for pro wrestling, because I thought that people would turn on me. And it's a weird thing to be worried about, you know? You should never be worried about expressing your passion for something just because of what other people think. And I know using my stupid pro wrestling video series as an example of that is a bit strange, but I don't think it is ultimately. Because I'm getting a lot of, it's very rewarding for me to make that show. So if any of you are thinking about doing like a creative project that you think that other people will look down on you for, just do it, man, just do it. And the worst that'll happen is that it won't go well and you'll try something else. But at least you tried, that's my opinion. So yeah, I do this Mark Remark series where like I take the events in the WWE and I recap them as best I can and I make a few jokes. It's sort of like The Daily Show except with wrestling. So probably a lot less childish than politics, I don't know. But I also do a series about depression. I'm going through. I've been struggling with depression the last 3 years, and I do a little weekly vlog series called "We're Still Here," which is about my journey through the worst of it and ultimately recovering from it. And the reason I do that series is because I think it's important for people to talk about that kind of thing, like mental health. Because the less we talk about it, the more difficult it is to open up about it and acknowledge it. And until we're able to do that, we're not able to deal with it. We're not able to, I'm not going to say necessarily recover completely from it, but it's much harder to go through if you're keeping it to yourself. So I'm trying to encourage myself to talk about it and deal with it, but also encourage other people to hopefully confront it. And I'd like to think ultimately handle it, or at the very least, know that you're not alone. So that's why I'm doing that. But yeah, this is the LittleKuriboh on the Bridge panel. And if you have any questions whatsoever, I know I like to jammer on, but if you do have any questions about anything, it doesn't have to be Yu-Gi-Oh!, it doesn't have to be wrestling, it doesn't have to be videos, it could be anything you've got questions about in general. We've got a microphone over here. So, do you want people to line up at the mic, or do you want people to put their hand up and I'll choose them and have them come down here? Whichever I would like. So if you do have a question, we have an aisle down here if you want to line up over there, and the microphone's right there, and you can just come forward to the mic, and I'm happy to answer them. But it looks like nobody has any questions. But yes, we have a question over here. Feel free to mosey along, and I will answer to the best of my abilities. Good afternoon, by the way. I know it's the first panel of the day, and I know I'm going to hopefully amp things up for you. Welcome, sir.
All right, so first off, welcome back to Comic-Con. I think the last time you came, you missed last year because of a clerical error, I suppose?
It wasn't a clerical error. I booked a different convention a long time before, and the dates ultimately conflicted. I don't think it was an error on anybody's part. It just, dates didn't work out.
Yeah, but that's not
I did miss it. I did miss Comic-Con. It's one of my favorites. Yeah,
and also, speaking of wrestling, there are a lot of great wrestling YouTube channels out there, like What Culture, what Amblam here and Screw doing, and of course, Wrestling with Regret. You heard of that?
What was the last one?
Wrestling with Regret.
I've heard of it. People have recommended it. what is it exactly? It's
basically kind of like Nostalgia Critic, or stuff, kind of like a video review series regarding wrestling. Especially there's a lot of some of the worst wrestling's been done. Brian does a lot of monthly pay-per-view reviews, stuff like that.
Yeah, I unfortunately, I'm the kind of YouTuber, I put as much content out as I can, but I don't really have much time to watch a lot of the other stuff, unfortunately. So while a lot of people come up to me and say, have you seen this abridged series based on this anime? And I'll always be like, I haven't even had time to watch the anime that it's based on. So unfortunately, the abridged series, I don't have time a lot of the time. But yeah, I haven't had much. I know Botchamania isn't a YouTube-specific series, but that's my favorite wrestling series online.
Yeah, but if you ever have a chance, you might to collaborate with, say, What Culture would be easier because they're in Newcastle. You're British.
I am British, but I'm located on the west coast of America, so I don't know how easy.
Well, so it would be easier for you to collaborate with, say, Brian Zane because he lives in Nevada.
Ah, yeah. I mean, it certainly isn't out of the realm of possibility, and I would love to work with other people. I know I've definitely had communications with them, but I just haven't had the time to sit and really think about it. But I'd love to one day, yeah.
Yeah. One more question. A lot of people, don't remember that you were in the K-On! Movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of K-On!, what are your thoughts of the series as a whole?
I've never seen it. I actually got done telling everybody that I had no idea what the real. I know it's about girls playing music. Is that right? Yeah. I vaguely know what it's about, but I mean, it's cool that there is a series like that, and I know that there are a lot of shows right now where it's like. There's another show where there's girls playing like classical instruments and stuff.
EBK Euphonium or Sound
Yeah,
Euphonium.
that one. A lot of people have raved about that.
I personally don't like some of the principles.
Okay.
Some of the principal plot points.
Yeah.
Especially compared to the novels that are based on. But
if they ever need a sushi shop manager, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
Welcome. How's it going?
Once I get the microphone, it's going good. I have kind of a bridge series question for
Cool.
you. I've been watching your bridge series for a very long time.
I've been making it for a long time.
I just want to know, what's your favorite character to voice?
Oh, from any abridged thing that I've been in?
Any.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, if I had to pick one from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, it would definitely be Marik.
Just because it's fun to do the voice and people, they get a kick out of it. I could say anything I want, like spaghetti, and it's funny. It's a joke now because I said it.
But he's not too far off from my actual natural voice. It's just a bit higher pitched and a bit more nasally. He's got an oddly British accent going on. I don't know if you've noticed that. I think a lot of villains do, and I think that he plays off of that really well. He's just a fun character, and it's fun. He's basically me when I was 12 years old. I didn't dress like that, but I didn't try and defeat the Pharaoh at any point that I remember. But I was very boisterous, I was very loud and stupid, and I had a lot of really dumb ideas, and he has a lot of really dumb ideas, especially in the abridged version. So he's a lot of fun. But if I were to choose like a character from a different series, I do love voicing Frieza. I love voicing the villains. Villains in general are a lot of fun. You get to sink your teeth into them. Speaking of sinking your teeth, Goku doing that thing to his tail, not cool. I'm still bitter over that. Aside from those guys, I'm a big fan of doing Naruto, or as he would say, Naruto! Believe it, that's right. Just because yelling is hysterical to me. I don't know why. It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's difficult to do over a long period of time. I have to have a glass of water next to me all the time while I'm doing it, but he's fun. He's fun. But yeah, those are the holy trinity of my abridged voices.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Hi. What character are you?
I'm Blackout the Fox, Sonic series.
You're like a fox from the Sonic series. I apologize.
I was wondering what was your favorite joke, skit, or episode of any abridged series you've done?
Favorite joke, skit, or episode from any abridged series that I've done? Well, it's so stupid, and I keep going back to the Naruto thing, but there's a scene that I'm really proud of. Not necessarily because it's like high entertainment or anything, but did anybody see the scene in one of the most recent Naruto spoofs where he pees in the child's face? Yeah. Some of you are like, yeah, and some of you are like, what? But there's a scene, I think it's the last one I did, where Naruto saves this kid's life from these like samurai guys, and he's standing on this little harbor area, and there's water all around him, but there's a child right in front of him, and he's like talking to him. And for some reason, I got it in my mind that he has to pee right now. And so he's like, oh, now I have to pee. That's the line leading into the joke. It's just high quality writing. And while I was writing the scene, it was like, but there's water everywhere. Why would he pee on the child? He has so many options of not doing that. So I had to write a piece of dialogue in there to explain why he did it. And the line is, there's no time! And the reason I'm most proud of this scene is that I debuted it at one of the biggest anime conventions in the West, which was Otakon. And they had no idea what to expect. They had no idea that it was about to happen to them. And they were showing it on this huge screen in front of, like, I want to say, like, hundreds and hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people. And as soon as he starts peeing on the child's face, and it's beautiful because there's this really dramatic music playing throughout. And that's why it's funny to me, is that the scene's played completely straight, but it's Naruto peeing on somebody. As it happens, you just hear a slow wave of, oh, throughout the entire crowd of so many people. And I just sat back and I watched them. I wasn't watching the screen at that point. They were my entertainment. It was quite a moment. And I had no idea how people would react, but I'm glad they reacted that way. Aside from that scene, my favorite joke, and it's not something that I wrote, I can't take credit for it. I kind of can, actually, because I think we ad-libbed it. When I was playing Frieza and I was fighting Goku, and it was after Vegeta died, spoilers. Frieza was fighting Goku, and he says, when you see Vegeta, tell him I said, like a bitch. And it's a callback to a previous joke, and I think there was a different line written there originally, and Kaiser Neko, the director, he sat with me in the Skype call, and we were saying the original line, and he was like, this just doesn't have as much bite as it should. And so I said, well, why don't we just do a callback to that like a bitch joke, because that was really funny at the time. And he said, okay, and he rewrote it while we were recording. And so many people ask me to say that. So I'm proud of that just because I got to say it and also because I was part of the moment as it became written. So yeah, I'm proud of those two scenes. Some of the most immature things I could possibly list. Those are my favorites.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are you really from a Sonic game? Are you like a dark version of Tails?
An enemy you fought in game.
An enemy you fought? Which game?
Sonic Dark Brotherhood.
Dark Brotherhood. I love that game. Dark Brotherhood was a great RPG. And I love that ending, man. I wish they did a sequel. Ah, man.
BioWare made that game.
They did. They did a good job. Hello, sir.
All right, I have a two-part question.
2 parts. Brilliant. Is there going to be an interval between them?
No,
Okay. I was going to get popcorn, but go on.
I don't do segues.
Ah, okay.
It's first part, boxers or brief.
Boxers or briefs? Boxer briefs.
Oh,
There you go.
all right.
One of the first answers I get applause for is that. Well done, sir.
And what color underwear?
What color?
Yeah.
Depends on what day it is.
Well, what about today?
Today is gray, it's boring. No, wait, it's blue. I lied, it's blue.
Well,
Why are these getting applause? He's wearing blue underwear, ladies and gentlemen. If you see me walking around, in the corridors of the convention and like from a distance, don't do it if I'm too close to you. But if you see me like across the way, just yell, "It's blue, man! Yeah! Blue underwear!" Okay, carry on. Sorry. That was the whole thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
That was worth it, right? That was worth coming to the panel. Hello.
Hello.
How goes it?
Good.
You doing all right?
I'm doing fine.
Awesome.
I was wondering if you're going to do a Bridge the New Yu-Gi-Oh movie.
Oh, I was waiting for this question. Am I gonna abridge the new movie? Well, I need to see it first. I'm gonna be seeing it next week. I don't have time this weekend, unfortunately. I know! I wanted to go see it with my friends while I was here, but I just don't have time. I'm doing too many convention things. It's only out today? I thought it was out tomorrow and Sunday as well.
Some theaters is out tomorrow.
Some theaters, it's different per theater. But I'm doing it next week. I'm seeing it next week. I have high hopes. As to whether I'll abridge it or not, I'm going to say yes. But there's a caveat. Well, there's 2 buts. First of all, you guys have to see it. You don't have to go to the theater necessarily, but when it comes out on DVD, please promise me you'll see it, you'll support it. Second of all, it's set after the series. Well, it's set after the manga, technically, so it's post Millennium World. It's post ceremonial duel. Yami's gone to the afterlife, which is nice. He's gone. So I abridged the other movies out of context because they don't really need a lot of context to explain the story. I feel like this is the plot points in this movie. They'll mean a lot more if it happens after the story, like the main story of the series. So if I do abridge it, which is a very strong yes at the moment, it'll have to be after I finish the show. So you might be waiting a few years, I hate to say it, but I think it would work better as an ending than as just randomly, I did this movie. I don't think it will have as much emotional weight. Because if Yugi's being like, oh, the Pharaoh's gone, it's like, no, he's right there. It was an episode ago, he was right there, you know? Especially right now when Yugi and Yami just got separated. It's going to be weird if Yugi's the one who misses Yami, you know? But yeah, I do have intentions of abridging it.
Also, I'm seeing it tomorrow, so.
I hope you enjoy it. I hear Kaiba does some ridiculous things. So Kaiba is just himself, basically. I got tipsy last night while waiting for my plane, and I tweeted, go support the new Yu-Gi-Oh movie, support animation, support Yu-Gi-Oh, support Kaiba's relentless giant ego. Because that's what you're doing when you see that movie. You want Kaiba to do some ridiculous things. I wasn't joking about that space elevator. He does build one in that movie. It's real. Yeah. Thank you. Have fun at the movie tomorrow. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hi.
First question.
Yes.
You like my shirt?
Bob Ross, what is he painting?
The galaxy.
The Galaxy. You know, I actually had no experience with Bob Ross until last year actually, because I don't think he was a thing in England. We didn't really have Bob Ross's stuff. So, but Netflix got him, they put his stuff on there relatively recently, and I put that on and I chilled out while watching it. And he's really cool. He's really cool, just listening to that guy talk. It's very relaxing, I have to say. So yeah, I do approve of your shirt, sir.
Thank you. And the second question was, I'm sorry if this has been asked a whole lot before, but what did you do before YouTube?
What did I do before YouTube? Not much, actually. I worked retail for a long time. That was like my real, that was what I was doing on a regular basis. I wrote fan fiction. I was a big fan of Xena Warrior Princess, so you narrowly avoided having Xena the Abridged series, I guess. I would have been interested. Do it? I don't know if I could pull off that voice, man. Cosplay Xena. I don't know if I have the thighs for that, you guys. I could cosplay Joxer. I could do that. I don't know if anybody even knows who Joxer is. Have Mariana be Xena. I could be Gabby to her Xena. There you go. I watched a lot of Xena, and I watched a lot of Mystery Science Theater 3000. That was a huge influence on me. Hell yeah, it's coming back. Netflix again. But aside from that, and I'm going to get a bit serious right now, I was a bit of a recluse, honestly, and I didn't have a lot of faith in myself in general. I felt very worthless, and I'd been bullied pretty extensively at school to the point that I didn't feel comfortable leaving the house a lot. So I didn't do much at all before Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. And doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged actually helped me a great deal recover from that. And I know a lot of you have probably heard this story already, and I apologize for retelling it, but I didn't have any faith in myself. I didn't have any real friends. I didn't leave the house. But doing this dumb parody of an anime, which is what it is ultimately, allowed me to gain confidence, allowed me to meet new people and new friends that I never would have if I hadn't met people through it. And ultimately, Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, it helped me a great deal become the person that I am today. It helped me come to conventions like this and talk to you guys, meet you guys, and meet Team 4-Star, who are some of the best friends I've ever had. I wouldn't know them without Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. So my life has completely changed, and it's changed for the better, and I'm grateful to it, and I'm grateful to all of you. I really am. You guys helped me become a better person. I wish that had been the first answer that you'd applauded, but it was the underwear one. Blue! That's what I did before Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say thank you for being able to come here today, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me and for being able to come yourself as well, sir. Honestly, I don't say this enough, but Comic-Con is a very positive memory for me. It's a very, I'm sure it is for a lot of you guys who have come multiple times.
You say it's your second favorite con.
It is at least my second favorite, if not joint favorite. My only other one that I love as much as this is one back in England called Alcon, which I only love that much because it's where it's my hometown show, and it's where all my friends are back home in England.
Was it Birmingham or?
No, not Birmingham. It's in Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah.
The City 2016 Premier League champions.
I don't know anything about that. But I really love Comic-Con because I did Alcon in 2009, and I'm going to rant a little bit. Not too long. I did Alcon, that convention, in 2009. That was my first guest appearance at a convention, and it was very intimidating. It was a much smaller show, but it was very intimidating for me. Then and I felt very out of place. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I did a show called MagFest, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. It's a video and gaming show, and they had me as a guest in 2009/2010 for some reason. And I felt very out of place there as well. I wasn't appropriate for the theme of the show. I did Anime Milwaukee very soon after that, and I was acclimating towards the convention scene. I was starting to understand why I was there and what my purpose was, and I was still very intimidated. Comic-Con was the first show I did where I felt like I was at home. Comic-Con was the first show I did where people treated me just like a person and treated me like a friend, and all the staff was super nice and helpful, and it just felt very natural and very, very good. And I will always owe a lot of my very positive memories to Comic-Con and to you guys. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Hello.
Bonjour, how are you?
Salut, ça va?
Dang it.
Très bien.
Much, who knows? Anyway, I had 2 questions, but now it's down to 1 because someone else asked my question. Can you mix voices? Do you like mixing your own voices when you're doing a, side reel or whatever?
Sometimes, actually, one of my favorite voices, I mentioned him earlier, Nylok, is kind of a combination of Yami Yugi and Esperoba. Because Yami Yugi is this very confident, deep, masculine voice. And Esperoba's always yelling about things. And Nylok is somewhere in the middle. So it helps sometimes to be able to combine those voices. Unfortunately, with doing stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and abridging in general, I had a long conversation about this with somebody recently. It makes you rely on a lot of those voices a little too much. And it becomes difficult to jump out of those little pigeonholes that you have that one character, you have that evil voice that is just manic, and it's hard to really go anywhere other than that because you gravitate towards it so immediately. But I try really hard. The most difficult thing about being a professional voice actor for me is just using my regular voice. And that's a skill. That's a skill you just have to pick up to be yourself. And going back to Nylok again, there's a scene in the Tome series where I have to break character and be me. And the director, Curb, he just said, okay, just be you. And I'd never been put in that position. I'd never been asked to just be me in a scene. So doing that was remarkably difficult, and I struggled. I struggled a lot. So it's hard. It's hard to mix the voices for me, and it's hard to not do the voices sometimes. I can't think of any other occasions where I've done a combination of the voices, but I do on occasion, like the Nylok thing, yeah.
Oh, I have another question. Has Joey and Kaiba had a conversation with themselves?
Have they had a conversation with themselves? I've never talked to that man in my life. Hey, come on, Kaiba, we do it like twice in the series. Yeah, but that's not a conversation, Joey Wheeler. That's a contest between rivals, a contest between egos.
They just released some sexual tension.
That's what she said. I don't believe that at all. That's not canon whatsoever. Yeah, it's canon. Don't worry.
You must think Kaiba, he just called him a rival.
Say again?
You must think that Kaiba, he just called Joey a rival.
That's right, man. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've talked before, but they don't get along super well. One of my favorite interactions with Joey and Kaiba was I did a Kaiba Plays Five Nights at Freddy's, and Joey called him in the middle of the game to basically try and tell him how to win it, and he just distracted him the whole time, and then he got killed. But it was entertaining at the time. Yeah, they've talked.
Thank you.
So thank you, sir. Hello.
Hi.
Surprising, right?
First of all, I'd like to thank you very much because, like you, I've struggled with depression. I had a time where I was hiding in my room, and your shows have given me a lot of laughs and have gotten me through those times. So thank you.
Oh, don't forget that whatever I did, you have the strength to overcome depression, and you have the strength to find that laughter in you. So
I have gotten through a lot. My boyfriend in the audience has helped me very much, and
it's brilliant.
Can you actually give him a little prize for me? Can you say in the darts voice, "Do him"?
I don't voice darts myself. That's actually Takahata 101 does that voice, but I'll do it. I'll do it just because I do a terrible impression of it. Where is he?
Right here.
Yeah.
Right over there. Okay. What's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew?
Yeah. That's correct.
Andrew Doogie.
Thank you.
No worries.
Actual question though.
Yes.
Whenever you started the Abridged series, did you actually plan out the characters and stick to that plan, or did you just do whatever?
I'm terrible at planning in general. I don't know if you can tell from the way I'm stuttering and stammering while I'm up here. I'm pretty unprepared most of the time. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, I didn't expect it to last more than one episode. So I didn't think that I needed a plan. So when I established a lot of those things, I didn't know if they were going to come back, if any of these jokes were going to be recurring jokes. Like when he said, "Screw the rules, I have money," I didn't know if he'd ever say that again. He did.
Snow clone on TV tropes.
Oh, really? But I didn't really have a plan for the show in general. I've tried where possible to come up with like a plan and stick to it when I've been able to, but a lot of the time when I plan something, I change my mind very dramatically in the future. And so whenever I plan something and I look at the plan, I'm always like, oh, I have this better idea, but it would mess with the plan and I can't change things. So I like to just wing it most of the time. I feel like my just sort of goofing around and coming up with things on the seat of my pants is better than whenever I try and plan things. I feel like I'm a bad planner. Having said that, I know I wrote the Orichalcos guys to be these really stupid, like goofy, like you have Alistair who's just sort of doing this voice, and then you have Valen who's like, oh, I'm Australian or something, and Raphael is just me talking. And I remember looking at that and thinking, well, I can't really write these guys very well now because I'm stuck with these voices. But this clip I'm going to show you, I don't know what you guys are going to think of it, but I feel like it's the only time where these guys have felt like real people. And I think that's because a lot of them, I'm speaking through them. It's me speaking through them. And I feel like that's a stronger voice than any goofy like catchphrase or gimmick that I could have given them. So I think honestly from now on my plan, if I'm going to plan anything, is just to try and have my voice carry through the characters more, if that makes sense. Because I feel like I'm relying on a lot of goofy catchphrases and memes a lot. And I feel that's one of my downsides.
I don't know, one of the best videos is, I don't know if I can say it, but was
The monologues?
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun too, but I think that's fun as a gimmick more than anything, yeah.
And if I may ask one more thing, can you say I'm pouting as Yami?
I'm pouting!
Thank you very much.
Hi, Martin.
Hey, Luke, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. I'm going to make this quick. Is your dog possessed by a demon? I've seen some pictures and videos on Twitter. I'm very concerned.
Tilly, my dog, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if she was possessed by a demon. We got this dog just over a year ago called Tilly. She was actually called Leia before because all of the litter of puppies, is that what you call them? They all had Star Wars themed names, and we adopted her, but we wanted a Star Wars name, but I don't think Leia really fit her personality. She's very stubborn. Actually, stubborn, independent, that does sound like Leia now that I think about it. But we changed it to Tilly, which was, it's a cuter name, it's more of a puppy name, and it's based on Satil Shan from the Old Republic series. It's an abbreviation of that. It's more obscure of a Star Wars reference, and it's something that's more personal to me. But she is a terror. She will lick you until your skin is raw. She will not stop licking you, and she's just very, very insistent that she lick you whenever she sees you. If you go to the bathroom and come out, she'll treat you like you just arrived home from like a year's mission away or something like that. She's very, very energetic and very, very hyper. But I managed to catch videos of her being somewhat demonic. Yeah.
I picked up on that. A little more real question. You do the voice of Mim Mim in the UK version of Kate and Mim Mim.
That's right. Does anyone know Kate and Mim Mim, the series?
See it on Disney Junior?
Yeah, there's on Disney Junior over here. Unfortunately, I'm not the voice in that version. In the UK, I'm the voice of the giant purple bunny Mim Mim.
Funny story about that, because the voice of the North American Mim Mim is Canadian Freezer.
Freezer, that's right. I actually tweeted at him saying it was an honor to be the British version of his character, and he did not reply. So I don't know if you like that or... What's that?
Where's the UK game?
Where does it air?
What channel?
CBeebies. I don't know if you're aware of that one.
My favorite CBB show is Sarah and Duck.
I don't know that one, but I'll give it a watch. If you actually go, it's weird, if you go to the official Kate and Mim Mim YouTube channel, they have clips of me doing the dialogue, but they don't have it on any of the American platforms, unfortunately. But I'm very proud of that character.
Yeah. But my question is going to tie in with that is, what was it like recording for your first toy?
I didn't record for my first toy.
I thought you were the toy too.
I am the toy as well. The frustrating thing is they have my voice in the toy. And usually when you record, I'm complaining about stuff I shouldn't be complaining about. But my voice is in that toy back in England. I don't know if it's in the one over here, but they just used lines from the show. Usually they have you sign a contract for that stuff exclusively and they pay you for that stuff, but they just did a cheeky thing and they took my dialogue from the show and put it in there. It's still cool to me. I'm still really excited that's a thing. It's really awesome. I'm a toy. That's weird. I'm a bloody toy.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
My question is, do you play video games?
I try to. I'm playing Yakuza 0 right now. Has anyone played the Yakuza games? Not nearly enough of you have played the Yakuza games. I highly recommend them. It's a Japanese RPG beat 'em up where you have to like absolve yourself of a murder in this game that I'm playing. But also you can spend hours playing Outrun or Pachinko if you want. It's so good. You guys would love it. If you like RPGs or beat 'em ups or just great games in general, pick up Yakuza 0. It's so good. Sorry, yes, I play video games.
Okay, well, what about fighting games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, that stuff?
I have played them. I'm terrible at them, but I do enjoy being terrible at them. Mortal Kombat is a lot of fun. Street Fighter. What other fighting games are there? Skullgirls. I like Skullgirls.
Sin and Ranky Glory, play that?
I don't know what that is.
It's pretty much a game like these young Japanese girls, huge boobs, you know, lots of wearing everywhere and all that, and the clothes fly off whenever they hit each other. It's awesome.
It's not too far removed from the Yu-Gi-Oh. Then I have a good frame of reference.
Last one is what about first-person shooters like Call of Duty, that sort of thing?
First-person shooters. I mean, I haven't played Call of Duty so much, but what? Left 4 Dead. I love Left 4 Dead, and I hope they come out with Left 4 Dead 3 at some point in the next 10 years. What about Doom? I didn't play the new one, but I played a lot of the old Doom games. I like Fallout. That's the closest I can think that comes to a first-person shooter. I'm a huge Fallout fan. In fact, whenever people ask me what's your dream role, I want to be just a guy you can shoot in Fallout and take his outfit. I just want to be one of those guys. You know, hey Mariana, how you doing? Mariana's got fans. That's my wife, ladies and gentlemen. We've got about 15 minutes left, so thank you, man. We've got about 15 minutes left, so unfortunately I only have time for, I'd say, 5 or 6 more questions. We'll try and get through them as quickly as possible. But I do want to show that video clip before I leave, so don't let me leave without doing that, okay? Go on.
Hi. There was a while in college where you and the Nostalgia Critic were two of my main sources of humor. So,
Oh, very cool, man.
Yeah.
That's very, I'm proud to be put in that company with that guy, man.
I think one of the jokes that, you know, when I first watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, one of the ones that really stuck for me, just as a Monty Python nut, was that one episode that opens with the establishing shot of Domino City, and then Spiny Norman pops up and goes, Dinsdale.
Dinsdale. Yeah, I love that joke. It's so random, but I wanted it in there.
Yeah. There are two particular bits that I've always kind of wondered where they came from. One is how'd you pick that voice for Zork? And the other is that charity video you did that ends with the fan fiction police showing up. How'd you think of that ending and that character?
I can answer the first one really easily. It's based on the actual dub. It's based on the actual Japanese and dub voice for Zork, because in the Japanese he has very much a voice like this. I'm a monster. So I did sort of a take on that, where he's just sort of, hi guys, I'm Zork. I have a TV show. It's no big deal. I just based it on the original version. And they still kept that in the dub as well, so it's just sort of goofy. You're waiting for the ultimate evil to show up, and he sounds like Pee Wee Herman. But the fan fiction police, which one was that? The one with Yami?
It was Merrick, Bakura, Kaiba, and Yugi that they got was that
Neko Marek?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody pitched the idea of Neko Marek and Bakura getting caught doing something dirty together, and that they donated to charity for it. I wouldn't usually come up with that idea by myself, but they wanted that, so I went ahead and did it. It was for a good cause, and the only way I could really justify having it happen and resolve with a joke was if the fan fiction police showed up and put them in jail because it wasn't canon, you know. So I think that was just my mindset, was that this can happen, but I don't want people to think that this is part of the actual story.
That the way that cop talks with the extra plural words, is that based off of Futurama?
Yeah, I think I just took a gag from Futurama with that and was like, yeah, that sounds like a thing. Going back to what I was saying before about not planning things out very well and wanting to write more just with my own voice, speaking through these characters, I want to rely less on gimmicks. So that's my only plan. But yeah, that was just from Futurama.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hello, sir.
Hey, A question about Naruto spoof.
Yes. I'm sure there are lots of questions about that show.
What on earth inspired Naruto's voice for that?
The Naruto voice? Oh, I hate to say it because I feel like it's rude, but the Naruto voice in the English dub, that doesn't sound like a boy to me. It sounds like a woman screaming a lot of the time. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. That's what it sounds like to me. So I just thought, hey, this is whenever I would walk through the room and Naruto would be on TV, I'd be like, oh, every other character sounds like a person. And then Naruto's like, ah! I am a ninja! So that was my interpretation of it.
Basically Naruto.
Basically just my trying, like again with Zorg, it was just me being like, let's take that voice and just exaggerate it to a ridiculous extent.
And then, if I could do a wrestling plug, if I may.
Yeah, do it, man.
I have a buddy doing a WWE panel tomorrow.
Sweet.
Anyone's welcome to come, and I know he's a big fan of yours.
Sweet.
Probably wouldn't mind too much if you decided to just like crash it or whatever.
I mean, what time is it at?
9 o'clock in the fan room.
At PM?
Yes, sir.
I think I've got my Family Feud panel going on during that, because I think that's from 8 till 10. But otherwise, I would... What's 9:30?
The Family Feud ends at 9:30.
Right. So I mean, if I come, it might be halfway through it, but I'll try. I'll try my best, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Great.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed your "Just Give Up" song. And
Oh yeah. I was really proud of that.
Yeah, it's been stuck in my head. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to explain it. I did a Hamilton parody as Frieza, based on the "You'll Be Back" from Hamilton, the song that King George sings to America after they split up, essentially. And I just thought Frieza was perfect for it. He's the very sort of pompous emperor character of the series. So yeah, he was right for that.
Yeah. So do you have any favorite plays? Or I know obviously you've been very busy as of late.
I mean, I love Hamilton. We got to see it live last year, I think, early last year, and that was a thrill. That stuck with me for a long time. It's one of the most positive memories I've had. It was not the original cast, unfortunately. They changed a lot of the roles. I think there was only 2 of the original cast still in it at the time. But I would have killed to see the original cast. I love Hamilton. It's a bit divisive, but I love Les Mis. I think Les Mis is a great show. I saw that when I was 11, and that's one of the first musicals I ever saw on stage, and it's just always been a very strong memory for me. I didn't like the movie as much, but as a show, it's great. Plays, though, just a play in general, I was in one that I'm a big fan of. It was an amateur production, but it's called Art, and there are 3 characters in the play, and my character was called Ivan, and he had a monologue that was 4 pages long, I want to say. It's like a 4-page long monologue, and there are like no breaks. He just has to run back and forth across the stage doing his monologue. And I saw it as a challenge as an actor that I wanted to tackle this monologue. And in doing it, I fell in love with the play. It's a really good play about, I guess, ego and about just like friendship falling apart. It's really good.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hello, sir.
I'll try not to take too long. I came in here knowing that you did a few abridged series, but I didn't know that you also did the voice for Nylok too.
I am Nylok, yeah, that's right.
I'm learning a little bit more about you. But I wanted to know, do you think that you could do an impression for me?
What impression, man? It depends.
Would you be able to thank my sister for taking me here?
As Nylok?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. What's your sister's name?
My sister's name is Josia.
Josina?
Josia.
Josina.
No.
Am I saying it wrong? I'm thinking John Cena.
It's Joe. Sia.
Sia. Josia.
Yes.
2 minutes. Okay. Does that mean we have 2 minutes left of the panel? Oh gosh. Okay. No, we have to wrap things up soon. Do you mind if we show the video? It's 2.5 minutes long, and I'll do that voice for you after the panel outside. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
I'm so sorry about that, man. I would have done it now otherwise. Sorry about that. No need to. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap things up with the video that I'm going to show, which is literally just under 3 minutes, so it should be all right, I hope. But thank you for coming to the panel, and I have we have the Team 4-Star panel at 10 o'clock tonight, and then tomorrow I have a panel at midnight, but I'm also on a Family Feud panel at, I believe, 8 o'clock, where I'm facing off against that guy with the glasses people. But thank you so much for coming, and I hope the rest of the weekend is great for you guys. And please enjoy this preview. Please enjoy this preview of my new Evil Council video.